Yo, peace everybody. Welcome back to All Viral Access Media, man. We're gonna get right into this shit, man. In the midst of the Diddy trial, we must forgot that there was a time where Steve Stoute got beat up so badly by Diddy and this invisible bully crew. Now, he didn't give any names, but we have right here is James Cruz and D-Rock in this pic wearing what Biggie coined the phrase invisible bully. Were they there in 1999 when this occurred? We don't know, but this was what happened. This is from Steve Stoute himself. This is what he said. He punched me in the face and then he grabbed the phone and bashed me in the head with it. 1 minute I'm in the middle of a meeting and the next minute I'm down on the floor and Puffy and his guys are kicking and pounding me. One of them picks up a chair and throws it at me. Then Puffy throws a desk over and then just walked out like nothing happened. I was laying there on the floor bleeding. My jaw and my head was swollen. I couldn't even move my arm. It was a traumatic experience. And in the middle of it, I didn't know exactly how to feel. I was upset, embarrassed, scared, angry. Now, as far as I'm concerned, this was an attempt on my life. The only reason why I'm not dead is because they missed. After the beating, my family urged me to get out of the music business, and I considered it. But the company has been very supportive of me and made me feel comfortable so that I can continue. I still have second thoughts though about how I move around. I'm still concerned about going back to the office. I'm still scared. Now, Diddy got a long history of whipping people ass, man. Now, look, this is not a Diddy smear campaign. It's really not. But this is a history being revealed, family. This occurred in 1999. Now, let's get into Cassie's injuries pictures. Look at this. Now, I had to blur this one out because it's a deep gash over her eye. Now, you see this one has healed up. Now, you see this one with her lip busted, right? Just all these pictures, man, all these bruises. Now, listen, let me tell you something. They filed a motion to stop a well-known psychologist by the name of Dawn Hughes. All right, let's just break down her history a little bit. Let's get right into it. Stay with me now. Now, Dawn M. Hughes, PhD, ABPP, I don't know what that stands for, but is a clinical and forensic psychologist in New York City who specializes in the assessment and treatment of interpersonal violence, traumatic stress, and the anxiety disorders. She was hired as a legal assistant for the federal defenders of the Southern District of New York, where she had the opportunity to research and argue psychological matters related to sentencings in front of federal court judges. This is not the first time, and she's going to be in the same court where his trial is at. But anyway, it was at that point Dr. Hughes decided to pursue more advanced studies in psychology. She was also the research coordinator for the Sexual Abuse Survivors Program, Follow Me Now, where she researched the history and memory of adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse. Dr. Hughes assessed and treated adults suffering from anxiety disorders and traumatic effects of victimization. Attest to the fact that an established organization of peers has examined and accepted Dr. Hughes as functioning at the highest level of excellence in the field of forensic psychology. Now, you have to understand something. Diddy's defense has put a motion to not have her testify, but she cannot answer questions that allude to force, abuse, interpersonal violence, coercive control, psychological aggression. I hope you're following me. But Dr. Hughes will provide concise definitions of the relevant forms of abuse. This testimony is limited in necessary context for the portion of a testimony related to why victims of domestic violence may stay or return rather than leave their abusers. The government will elicit testimony regarding why victims remain in relationships, how victims cope in such relationships, why they engage in delayed disclosure, and the effect of trauma on memory. So they are not playing, man. We have to understand something. Diddy has 8 charges, but the government only has to find him guilty on 2 of those charges. That's why he added his 10th lawyer. His name is Jonathan P. Batch of Shapiro Orado Batch LLP. Now, let's not forget that Kid Cudi will be testifying this week or sometime next week, whatever. The evidence keep piling, and David James, his personal assistant, and people say he turned on him, and I guess so, and he got an agreement, immunity as well, so he couldn't lie on the stand. But he literally exposed Diddy's illegal drug purchases, forced labor, prohibiting people from eating if he feels they didn't complete a task to his liking. His workers have to tell new workers to worship and do everything for this man while pointing at his picture. That's nasty, diabolical work, fam. That's nasty work. And putting David James in a life and death situation while dealing with Puff. Y'all know the situation when he had 3 guns on his laps. You know what I mean? Now, everybody has to answer to a person and do as they say. Take directions, and everything has to be done. You cannot do anything without getting a confirmation from one source, and that's Diddy. That is a boss, and they can't consider that like a crime boss or a criminal enterprise. Man, it's getting really ugly out here. I don't know what the hell to tell y'all. And it's not looking good for Diddy, man. And this is only week 2. Again, this is not a Diddy smear pain. It's not. But we have to look at what's piled against him and what people who was there working with him for years, side by side, what the fuck is up? Okay? But anyway, oh yeah, I forgot. They're going to invite Dawn back to the stand because she was a witness to a gang rape. Well, let's read. Now it says, on their last night in Glasgow, Miss Richards witnessed Mr. Combs and several other males gang banging another one of Mr. Combs' female assistants at the hotel pool. Mrs. Richards immediately left and went to her hotel room. On their flight back to the United States the next day, Dawn asked Puff where the assistant was. Combs replied, I don't give a fuck where that bitch is. So Mrs. Richard later learned that Mr. Combs had taken the assistant's passport with him to the United States and leaving the assistant stranded in the United Kingdom. Now, what the fuck does that tell you? I don't know what to tell you. I know there's a lot of people. Look, I'm rooting for Diddy too. I'm rooting for him, but at the same time, family. History is the track record of who you really are. I'm gonna say that one more time. History is the track record of who you really are. So what is he? Y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comment section. I'm out this motherfucker. Peace.